Hi, everyone. Welcome to the National Museum of African American History and Culture's Joyful Fridays program. My name is Tammy, and I'm going to be learning and creating with you today, along with my teammate, Ariel.
Hi, everyone. I am super happy to be here with you today.
We are so excited to have so many people joining us today. Thank you for being here. During our program, we are going to read a page from our Joyful ABCs book. We're going to look at museum objects together and create some art. Every week, we will explore one of the many things that make you you and all the things that you can do.
Please give me 2 thumbs up if you're feeling ready to get started today. I'm feeling ready to get started. Tammy, are you feeling ready?
I'm ready.
Yay! All right, let's go.
People like you and me have many ways and different ways to be. Today, we are learning about one of those ways we can feel and be, and it starts with the letter D. Can you trace this letter with me? Let's get out our tracing finger, and we're going to start at the top, and we're going to go all the way down and stop. Now we're going to pick our finger back up. We're going to go back to the top of that D, and we're going to make that big curve all the way down to the bottom. Boop. Now we have our D. So, what words do you know that start with the letter D? There are lots of D words. I'm thinking of 2. D is for deer, and D is for down. What words do you know that start with the letter D? Can you let us know in the chat?
2 words that I'm thinking of that start with the letter D are dog and let me think, dominoes. Like dog and dominoes. What other words do our friends know?
Maybe friends are thinking of dip or dad or din or daisy. Oh, someone says diner.
Ooh.
Dragon, dinner, delightful.
I like that word. There's a lot of, I think, D words that describe things like delightful or delicious. We have does and daytime and dream and dreamy. We have design, delivery, dangerous, duck, dance.
Dragonfly. Someone's name is Dennis. Oh, donkey.
We have some other words that are like kind of short words like dry and dull and deli and don't and do.
Keep those words coming. We'll continue to read them. But the word that we're going to be learning about today is D is for daring. So let's read a page from our book together and find out more about this special word. When you try something new or take a chance, you are daring yourself to be brave, to learn, to be strong. Keep going. We all are daring in our own ways every day. Taking risks and reminding ourselves that we can do this is daring for a lot of us. It's a little like being brave, but daring does mean that we are often maybe taking some more risks. It's like doing something that is a little riskier because it feels more exciting that way. It's what keeps us wanting to try harder and maybe doing things differently each time we try. Whenever we challenge ourselves to be better and keep believing in our own abilities, we are being daring. We are telling ourselves to keep going even when it feels like it may be too hard or too difficult to continue. Have you ever fallen down or were disappointed the first time you tried something new? What made you try it again? How did you change the way you did things the first time? You probably learned something from that fall or that disappointment. And every time you fell or got disappointed, you learned how to get better and stronger each time. You may have worked it out on your own, but you dared yourself to keep going and you were able to push yourself to get past the barriers that you encountered. So today we're going to meet two athletes that are featured in our museum that did some daring moves that got them very far in their careers. This is Gabby Douglas. She was an American gymnast who competed and won lots of medals in gymnastics. A gymnast is someone who uses their whole body to do things like flip and jump and tumble, and they have to be flexible and strong and daring. She was both the first African American to claim gold medals in the team and individual all-around events, and the first African American to win an all-around title. That means she went and did all of the routines, like she did the balance beam and she tumbled on the floor, and she won a gold medal for all of her moves. Gabby started practicing gymnastics when she was only 6 years old. And what was very daring is that she moved far away from her home to become a gymnast. Gabby wasn't always winning medals during her career. There were many times she had to dare herself to keep going and get stronger. This is the leotard that she wore during her first competitive season. That means it was the first time she competed against other gymnasts for medals and awards. Here we can see her on the balance beam doing what I would call a very difficult and daring flip. Can we pretend to flip like Gabby? Okay, we're gonna use our fingers to make this flip. Are you ready to flip with me? All right, we're going to use our index finger to be the balance beam. All right, do that first. Then we're going to use, make a straight line. Then we're going to use the index finger and the middle finger of our other hand, and we're going to try to flip like her. So you ready? Let's get on our balance beam. Maybe we'll go this way. We're going to take our fingers, we're going to flip. Whoa, all the way over. And even just with our fingers, that was pretty daring. Thank you for doing that with me. What a daring feat that was. Oh. This is Simone Manuel. Can you tell what sport she plays by looking at what she's wearing? Simone Manuel is a swimmer. And in 2016, she became the first African-American woman to win an individual swimming gold medal. She also won 2 silver medals during those Olympics in Rio. Her gold medal set an Olympic record and an American record. She has many awards and medals that she's earned throughout her career. This is, let's see, almost had it. This is Simone's swimsuit that she wore the year she won that gold medal. We can see her here in the water as she's swimming. Can we pretend to get very strong and very daring and pretend to swim like Simone? All right, first let's put on the swimsuit. Start at the bottom, we'll pull it all the way up. And then we're gonna put our arms through. Okay, now we should protect our eyes because when you are in the water, you wanna make sure that you can see, so you have to put on those goggles. Let's put on our goggles so the water doesn't bother our eyes. Okay, those are on. We can put our hair up in the cap to protect it. And let's imagine that we're on the edge of the pool, or you could imagine that you're diving up really high and get really brave and be very daring as you dive up really high. So I'm gonna jump in from the top. I'm gonna jump in from maybe a platform, all right? You can jump in on the side, or you can jump in wherever you wanna jump in. So we're gonna get our arms ready to dive in like this. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Dive into the water. All right, now we're gonna swim. You're gonna take that arm over. Get it really strong to make those moves. Oh, okay, I think we're almost there. And we're done. Now that was a daring move to jump in and swim like that. So Simone had to be daring to get as fast as she is. This leads me to our question of the day. So we've learned that Gabby Douglas was daring when she moved away from her home at a young age to train and become the gymnast that she is today. She was daring whenever she would do those really big flips and balance on the balance beam. Simone Manuel was daring whenever she dove into the pool and competed. So I have a question for you now. When have you been daring? Has there been a time when you may not have wanted to do something because you were a little unsure, or maybe you have thought it was a little too scary or dangerous? Let us know in the chat. And as we wait, Ariel, when have you been daring?
Well, I think that in comparison to some things that we saw Gabby and Simone doing, sometimes there's things that people can be daring and it's, something physical or really big or something that everyone sees. But a lot of the times, the ways that we're daring are in everyday little ways and things that people might not always notice, might not always see. And so I was thinking one thing that I do, and I know a lot of friends out there probably do too, is being pretty daring when you wake up and go to school or go to work every day. Sometimes it's just daring to show up somewhere knowing that you're going to probably face some challenges that day, or you're going to need to learn to do something new, or you're going to meet some new people. And that can be a pretty daring and pretty brave thing to do, to show up and to try. So that's one thing that I think I've been doing that's pretty daring this week, is just showing up and trying to do my best.
You're right. That's a really, really important thing to remember, that just sometimes getting up, doing your best is the most daring thing that a lot of people can do. It's just up to you. I can think when I was younger, my first time I thought I was being daring was my very first piano recital. I didn't want to do it. I was really scared, and I dared myself to get out there and play the piano for my family and my friends. And after a few times me doing it, it got a little bit easier, and it wasn't as scary since the first time I did it.
What were you scared of?
I was scared to perform in front of a lot of people in case I made a mistake. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to let my family down. They all came to see me. My grandmother, my grandfather was there, and I was just really nervous and scared that I wouldn't do my best. But then I did, and everything was great.
So you dared to share something with other people, I think is a big way of being daring, is when you're sharing something like a skill, like playing the piano, or sharing something that you made or something that you've practiced, and putting yourself out there for other people to see and hear is a pretty brave thing to do. We have some friends who are sharing with us in the chat, which is pretty brave, that they're sharing their daring things with us. I see that one friend shared that they fell off of their bike and they were daring when they got back on to try again. And I say, congratulations for trying again, and keep going when you fall in whatever you do. That's awesome.
And someone says when they went down the playground fire pole.
Ooh.
I remember my first time doing that. And that's a very, very daring thing to do, because it's so high up and you can't really tell, like, what do I do? Do I hold on to it? Do I just slide down? So congratulations on doing that.
And sometimes the best thing about having that daring feeling and then going again is that then you get to experience the fun and the joy that comes with that. Mm-hmm. So that feeling of going down the pole, or feeling of going on your bike and this time you're not falling and you just are getting faster and faster, that is such a good feeling. Even if it took a little bit of daring kind of and motivation to do it. Mm-hmm. Some other things that friends have shared with us is that they were daring and brave when they were reading out loud to their classmates. And so they're sharing their voice with everyone. Someone else who's being brave to make new friends. It's a very daring thing to do. We have another friend who, let's see, when they went on the big slide for the first time. So a lot of friends are really sharing those big moments where they did something physical with their bodies and were really daring.
All right. Oh, I think one more person said sing in front of people that they didn't know. And I can understand that. That's like when I played the piano. You put so much into practicing and wanting to get everything the way you want it to be. And sometimes when you're out there in front of other people and sharing something with them, that could be very daring too. And someone says going to school.
Definitely.
Yes.
Going to school and showing up and all of the different possibilities that might be there when you get there takes a lot of bravery.
It does. Thank you for sharing all of those daring moments with us. And I think now it is officially art time.
Thanks everyone for sharing those daring feats that you all are taking on every single day. I want you to keep those in your mind because we're going to use some of those for our art project today. Today, we are making our own daring medals, and they're going to look something kind of like these, where on one side it's decorated like that. And then on the other side, it says something daring that you did, like I went on an adventure, or I tried a new food, or one of the things that you all shared. So we're going to make our own of these. In order to make our own, you need some supplies. Let's see, you will need, if you did some pre-work already, you may already have some circles with holes in them for your medal. If you don't, just some paper will do, and I'll show you in a little bit how you can make one of these really quickly. You'll need some ribbon. You will need some markers. You'll need some crayons. You'll also need to have a pen or a pencil. And what else? Oh, and in case you do want to add anything on there today, you can have some 3D materials like some foil or some paper shapes, some glue. You can also have some oopsies. In case you do need to still cut out your metal, you'll need some scissors and a cup for tracing. And I think that is all of our supplies that you're going to need. So first, if you do not already have a circle with a hole on the top for your medal. Oh, and by the way, we're making medals because just like Gabby and Simone, who won medals for their daring acts, I want to make sure that you get to have a medal for every daring act that you do every day. So in case you still need to make that, you'll take a piece of paper. You will take your cup, and you can probably turn it upside down right there on your piece of paper, and you take a pencil or a pen or a marker or any kind of tracing material, and you're just going to trace around all the way around your cup. And that's going to leave you with a circle right there that's going to become your medal. And then you can safely, for some friends, being safe means that we have an adult that's helping us today. You're going to cut out your circle along the line very carefully so that we can stay safe. And then once you have your circle all cut out, like that. You will also very carefully, so that your fingers are nice and safe, gonna poke a hole at the top. So the way I do is I kind of just push my pencil through, oopsies, and I tore part of that one. And try it, there we go. So I just made a little bit of a mistake right there, but now I have a hole, and that's where I'm gonna put my ribbon a little bit later. So once you've got that, we are ready to get started. Now, let me see. I'm going to use my pink paper for my medal today. And we're going to start on one side. You're going to decorate. So you can use your markers, you can use your crayons. If you'd like, you can use some of your 3D materials if you have them today. These medals are meant for celebrating, whether it's going down the slide or riding your bike or doing a piano recital or showing up at school. So you're going to want to decorate it in a way that feels celebratory. So that might mean all the colors, may mean your favorite color. I'm going to glue on a star. Some people may want to make theirs shiny because a lot of the medals that people wear get rewarded, not just for athletes. Athletes win medals sometimes for being daring, but you know what? People can also win medals for being daring as a writer or a poet. And they write something that's pretty amazing, or even if they help the world and help others do something, that's a pretty daring thing to do. So you can also get a medal for that. So you might want to use some shiny silver foil, or so a lot of medals are gold or bronze. So you might want to use something like that. But for now, I'm adding a star onto mine and a little bit of some colors. Tammy, how are you decorating yours over there?
I have a couple of stars. I have some spirals, a triangle, a sun. So thinking that, there are a lot of people like scientists who get medals and awards for using their mind.
Yeah.
Or thinking of new, like different ways of thinking. That's daring too. I mean, there's so many ways you can be daring, and you're right. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be the way you move your body. It could be just the way you think creatively.
Yeah, thinking creatively and not doing what we already know how to do is a very brave thing to do. As I am continuing to decorate and almost finishing up, because it's a small space. If you want, you could decorate more than one right now if you have it. I was just thinking about when I was younger, one of the things that I feel like pretty daring to do was sharing my artwork with the class. Sometimes at school, you have to show your classmates in front of them what you did and what you were working on. And now I share my work on the computer with you all, and I don't even know all of the people that get to see our videos and stuff, but that used to be something that took a lot of bravery for me to do when I was in elementary school, to show people what I was working on. And now, because I've had so much practice doing that, I feel pretty brave to show you all my art, because I feel pretty confident in the way that I make things now, and it feels good to share. So I'm done sharing this, or I'm done creating the back of my medal and sharing it with you all. I'm ready to work on the other side. Tammy, how's yours coming along? Oop, it's coming along great.
I just want to say there's one, I think it's a teacher who said that they're proud of their students who are being daring right now. So congratulations to you.
Proud of you too. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, now speaking of one sentence that you can say that says what you've been daring on, that's what we're going to do on the other side of our medal right now. So I want you all to think about one thing, just for now, one thing that you do that is daring. It could be one of the ones you shared earlier, just a little bit ago. It could be something new. The point of our medals is to do it for the little things. You can do it for the big things too, but since these are such an easy thing to make, you could start making these all the time for all of the things that you do every day. So for now, we're going to work on just one. And one I was thinking about for me is I am going to write, I helped someone, because it can feel pretty comfortable to do your own thing or to just think about yourself. And it takes a lot of bravery sometimes to help someone else and to learn more about their problem and do something to try and fix it. So I think it was pretty daring of me to help someone and show that I care about them. So that's the sentence I'm going to write. And you can go ahead and write yours too and share it with us in the chat if you'd like, or share it with someone, or you can keep it to yourself and remember that daring thing for yourself. Tammy, what are you writing on yours?
I'm going to write that I drove to a new place the other day, and I had my GPS and everything, but I'd never been there before. And I got myself there and I got myself back home without even having to use the GPS. So I figured that's, for me, was pretty good.
Really good. Yeah. That would be a daring and a huge accomplishment for me as well. So I'm proud of you.
No, thank you.
Proud of you. All right.
What I did when I realized when I was making my medal that like on the back side, this is the back. It kind of was like, you can see all the shapes. I made another circle that I'm going to add to the back that I can write on.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good observation, Tammy, that I used some thicker paper, so it didn't go through the same way. But for friends who are using construction paper, they may notice that. And that's an easy fix. You just made well, actually, that was a creative fix. How about that? Because you're going to glue those two sides together so that it's even stronger of a medal. You can also, if you do not want to write or aren't able to write right now, you can also draw a picture of your daring thing that you did. And you then when you write it, so I wrote, I helped someone. I added a little bit of decorations. I might go back and add a little bit more. I see someone sharing with us that they tried using Zoom to teach and learn, and that was a pretty daring thing to do. I agree with you. We've been trying to learn how to use Zoom to teach and learn, and it is a feat to accomplish. So congratulations on that, and keep learning, because there's always something new to learn with Zoom. Pretty much every time we log on. So all right, there's my medal. And we are almost to our very last step. Tammy, are you feeling ready to go on to our last step?
I am. I do. I glued both my sides. So I have this part where I wrote, I drove to a new place by myself, and the side. So I'm ready.
Awesome. All right. So you're going to need some ribbon, everyone. For anyone who's needing to cut theirs right now, you just want to make sure you're cutting it in a way that's long enough, again, with the help of a adult friend if you need it, and so that it's long enough to be like a necklace, to be like a medal. I already pre-cut mine, so mine's right here. And you are going to put it through the hole that you made. So let's see, you see how it's going through there? Pull it all the way through, and then you're going to tie the two ends together to make your necklace. And some people might have a few different ways of doing that. It's a little bit like tying a shoe, but you just got to tie a little knot right there at the ends, so it's nice and tight there. And then you can put on your medal, and you give yourself a medal. You don't have to wait for anyone else to give it to you, but this would be a nice gift to give to somebody to notice and acknowledge the way that they were daring, and you notice that. But this is my medal, and my medal says I helped someone. I can wear my medal to remind myself that I was daring. I can also put my medal, hang it up somewhere, and show myself as a reminder to be daring another time. Anytime you need that kind of boost, that motivation to be daring, you can use it as a reminder on, or just hanging up. Tammy, can you show us your medal?
This is my medal. This is the front of mine. This is the back. Can you see it? I know. I probably should have used a darker color.
That's right.
It says, I drove to a new place by myself, and have a little car down here. Just kind of hard to see.
It looks good though, even from the part that I can see.
Thank you. I think I'm gonna
We-
make some more of these today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We hope that you continue to make some more. They add to your collection every day, every week. You have some way that you are being daring, and we are so proud of you for showing up and for trying every single time. Please feel free to show us your medal every time you make it if you want. Show us how daring you've been by sharing it with us on social media and using the hashtag nmaahc or tagging the National Museum of African American History and Culture or sending us an email.
Thank you for joining us this week, and we hope you enjoyed spending time with us as we learned about the many ways we can be. I hope you continue to be daring with your actions and caring with your heart.
Oh, join us on November 5th. That's our next Joyful Friday. We will be creating art inspired by a different Joyful ABC activity book. E is for emotional. I'm looking forward to exploring our feelings together next time we see you.
In the meantime, we hope you find joy and many ways to create, discover, and explore. See you next time.